Welcome to episode 1 of Don't Wreck This Journal. Yep, you heard that right. We will not be wrecking this journal in the way it is meant to be wrecked, but we will still be wrecking it in different ways, more creative and artistic ways. For people who don't know what Wreck This Journal is, it is a prompt art journal meant to help you with perfectionism in your creative process. So it has a prompt on each page, and these prompts can be fairly destructive, but they are going to be super fun. And the whole point of these prompts is that you let loose and have fun and don't worry about the outcome. So in this video, I will be experimenting with different art materials and just have fun with each prompt, giving it my own spin. But before that, let's dive into the instructions. This video has been on my to-do list for a very long time now, and it's also part of one of my art goals for this year, so finally I am starting it. So the instructions say that you have to carry this journal anywhere you go, and you have to follow all the prompts given on the pages. But the most important one is that you can interpret the instructions the way you like. So you can choose to follow it very literally or just however you feel like it. And I'm going the other way because I want it to be creative and I don't want to destroy it, like wreck it and leave it in tatters. I just want to have fun and not worry so much about the mess I make while I'm creating art in this journal. For me, that would be breaking away from perfectionism. So I started off with the add your page numbers page and left the instructions and other pages just like that because I will be decorating them later. And since order is not important, so I'll be starting with that page. And for that, I had an idea of creating a board game page. And for this, I chose the Snakes and Ladder game because the boxes have little numbers, so I thought it would fit the theme well. So I started off by making a grid on the page and then I sketched out some snakes and ladders, and I'll be coloring each of these boxes with different colors because I want this page to be very colorful. To color this page, I very excitedly opened my brand new pack of poster colors, but I don't think it's an ideal medium to use on this page because it's going to bleed even if you don't use any water in your wet medium. So if you want to use any wet medium, I would recommend priming the pages first, and that's what I'm also going to do in the next pages. I would also like to take a moment and make it clear that I'm not trying to make this journal pretty or whatever, but I'm just trying to create fun art without really being very invasive, because I want to keep this as a record of my creativity and not a record of my destruction. And for me, the whole point of this journal is to let loose while I'm creating art and not worry about the little things I mess up during the process or just how you use a sketchbook. So this is kind of an extension of my sketchbook but with already given prompts. So it's just how I see it. For me, that would be enough to not worry so much about the outcome and just enjoy the process. So in a much bigger sense, I think it's just a place for me to explore different mediums. Even though this journal is not capable of handling things like that, I'm still going to do it, and in the process I think it will be wrecked in its own way. So I am wrecking this journal, but not really, but actually I am. I hope you get the point. After I painted the squares, I wrote the numbers on top of them and just added a bit of details, shadows, and highlights with crayons and a white gel pen. And now you can take a closer look at how this page turned out. Let me know in the comments how you think it turned out. I think it looks very colorful, just the way I had intended it to. And look at those snakes. I think they look adorable, don't they? Moving on to the next page, the prompt on this page says to crack the spine. And here you can see my feeble attempt at cracking the spine of this book. Cracking the spine just sounds too painful, so I'll be giving it a gentle massage so it can relax and, I don't know, just relax, I guess. To make this prompt a little less painful to even imagine, I thought of converting this into something happy. So I chose to draw a broken piñata with candies and sweets overflowing from the inside. So that's my sketch, ready to be painted, but I don't think you can clearly see it now because of the bleed through from the previous page. Since the water-based paints did not work on this page, I thought of using acrylic paints, so I'm using them for this page, and I did not water them down because I had already painted the previous page, so if there would be any bleed through, all the color on the previous page would just get activated. I don't use acrylics very regularly, and believe it or not, I'm using acrylic paints that are more than 10 years old in this page. How these paints did not dry out, I am still surprised. But I was still having trouble painting on this paper since it was not a primed surface and the paper was just absorbing the paint even though I did not use water. But still, they are a wet medium, so I think this paper needs a lot of priming if you want to use any wet medium, like I said before. For other finer details, I just fished out my acrylic paint markers just for convenience, and I started going over with them on the painted areas. And to cover up all the bleed through from the previous page, I painted the background with different shades of blue. And for some other finishing touches, I made little cutouts of candies and other decorations and just pasted them on the background. And this is how it looks. I don't know if it happens with all varieties of acrylic paints, but the ones that I am using tend to dry out glossy, and that's why you see the glare when it's put against the light. And the paint still remains sticky, so I think I'll need to put a protective film so it doesn't stick with the other page. The next prompt says, leave this page blank on purpose, and I'm doing exactly that, with just a little twist. I'm just making an empty frame here, so it's just going to be the frame and there's going to be no picture in it. So it's technically a blank frame. So the page is going to be blank with a blank frame. Since this page was completely black, I thought I would need something that would show up. So I'm using my metallic markers, and this page was very simple and I had a lot of fun just outlining and doing the design for this frame. And this is how the page turned out. I love the golden leaves I added at the end. I think it just makes everything pop out so much. Let me know how you think this page turned out. I really like it, even though it's so simple. The next prompt says to stand here and jump up and down. So, this prompt is something I would never do on purpose or just for fun because it is not considered respectful in my culture to put books and notebooks under the feet. It's just how I was brought up, so I won't be doing this physically, but I can still give it a different twist. So here I'm going down the memory lane and just recreating one of my favorite childhood cartoon shows, which was the Flintstones. So I'm making Fred Flintstone stand on the spot instead of me, and beside him is his wife, Wilma. Before adding paint on this page, I primed it with some DIY gesso, and now I see the difference. Like, it's huge. On a primed surface, the paint glides so much more smoothly than on a non-primed one. And now I can feel that I'm really having fun with acrylic paints. Earlier, whenever I used to pick acrylic paints, I would have a mini panic attack because all the paint would just dry out so quickly and I wouldn't know what to do with them. It could be because my surface wasn't ideal for acrylic painting or just that I did not know the technique. I still don't know anything about acrylics as such, I would say, but now I'm getting to know the properties of acrylics better and I can see how much difference the surface makes. I have always wondered how artists are able to use acrylics on their sketchbooks. Like, it sticks together, so how do you prevent that? If any of you guys have any tips for that, do let me know in the comments because I had to put a plastic sheet or a parchment paper so the pages wouldn't stick together. I've also heard varnishing helps, but I'm not sure how much it would work on a sketchbook page. So just let me know if you have any suggestions for this. While painting this page spread, I also realized something very interesting. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but after I primed it with my DIY gesso, there was a lot of texture on the page. So when I put paint on the page, all the texture became more prominent and it just went along with the theme of the Flintstones. It looked a bit rocky and stony. And I felt like I hadn't intended it to look like that, but it still came together, and it was just a fun thing to notice. Take a closer look at this page, and you can see all the grit and texture I was talking about earlier. I had the most fun painting this page of all the pages, so let me know how you think it turned out. Now, moving ahead to the next prompt, it says pour, spill, drip, spit, fling your coffee here. So, I will be very straightforward with this prompt and follow it as it is instructed. I drink coffee almost every day, but I still don't think I'm addicted to it because I can still go through my day without a cup of coffee if need be. I just drink it because I like the taste. But that's not the case with Garfield. He wants his coffee and a lot of it. So if you don't give him his coffee, he's going to be very, very mad. And that's what I tried to put on this page. I saw this Garfield meme a while back and I just felt that it would be a perfect fit for this page. And you'll see after I add the text what I'm talking about. Also, I am using acrylic paints again, but I did not prime the pages with gesso because the DIY gesso I used earlier made the pages a bit heavy and I did not have a store-bought one. So I just wanted something like an in-between So I painted the pages with white acrylic paints before putting on my actual colors. While the white painted surface is okay, but I still liked the feel of the gessoed surface much better. So anything that has more grit or texture just feels much better to paint on than a more smoother or a more glossy surface, I would say. But I think it's just personal preference. It depends on what different people like. However, it's still better than painting on the bare page, so I would think it's not a bad start. This page looks like it's on fire. I think it captures how angry Garfield is because he just spilled his coffee all over. He's at work, he has loads to do with a big pile of papers beside him, and he's super annoyed that he doesn't have coffee anymore in his mug and he needs it to get through his day. And now comes the fun part of this prompt. See, I'm pouring my coffee. Now you can't accuse me of not following all the prompts. I am following some, alright? After spilling all my coffee, oops, Garfield's coffee, this is how this page looks like, and you better give him his coffee so nobody gets hurt. Let me know what you think of this page. I really like this page. I think by far this is one of my favorite pages because I have more than one. And now we come to the last and final prompt of this video, where the prompt says to poke holes in this page using a pencil. But I'll not be using a pencil, but I'll still be poking holes. So technically I'm still following the prompts. But for that I am making some arrangements. I made some paper hinges so I could add some interactive element on this page, and you will see what I am talking about. So to make these paper hinges, I cut out tiny circles and just made a little circle in the middle and then two V's on either side and then cut it like this. After making the cuts, I gently folded the tiny flaps on the opposite side, and I made a total of 13 hinges because there were 13 holes on that page. And now I'm making the holes using an X-Acto knife because I'll be putting those hinges through these holes. So I pushed the hinges with both the flaps on the opposite side and just folded it like a split pin. So after working on the mechanics of this page, I went ahead with sketching the idea for this page. I'm creating a lily pond with many lily pads, and the lily pads would sit on top of these holes on those paper hinges. So I sketched a cute frog just laying down on a bed of lily pads with a small bunch of flowers in his hands for all the viewers watching this video. And his fish friends are keeping him company, so they're all just having a little pool party of their own. I want to share something interesting I noticed while filming the clips for this page. The camera just doesn't pick up the colors teal or turquoise that well. It could be because I'm not using a very high-end camera, it's just my phone's camera. But the way the color looked to my eyes, it doesn't look the same on the camera. So I just felt that this was something very new to me. It made me curious because most of the colors I saw on the camera were almost exactly like how it appeared to me in person, but this particular color just did not look how it looked on paper. So if any of you have had a similar experience or anything interesting like this, do let me know in the comments. I would love to hear them. So I read up on this and figured out it depends on the sensors the camera is using, and depending on the quality of the sensors it will distinguish the colors. And because turquoise and teal are more sophisticated shades of blue and green, it will either pick them up as more blue or more green depending on the sensor. So a bit of nerd talk here, but I like learning things like this, and I think understanding the workings of a camera can really help with understanding color theory also in a way. Now, after painting my froggy little friend, I am ready to put the lily pads on the page. So before that, I cut out these lily pads and painted them separately, and I'll be sticking them on these holes after I put in the hinges. So this is how it looks after putting the hinges in the holes, and it moves a bit when I twist them. So when I stick the lily pads on the circular area, the lily pads will also move. I also added some more details with a white gel pen, and this is how it finally looks. Look at how beautiful these lily pads look, and it's fun that they can move too. I added some of those flowers, consider them lilies, even if they don't look like lilies. And with that, we come to the end of this video. Let's do a quick flip through of all the pages I created so far. If you're still with me, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I am really grateful for an audience like you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to watch more such videos, don't forget to check out my channel. If you like my content, do give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and please subscribe. It motivates me a lot, and since I'm a new creator, that's the only motivation I have to create more videos. I will be back with more episodes of Wreck This Journal series very soon, and other videos. Until then, take care and goodbye.